Welcome to the deep dive. This is where we grab a whole stack of sources and, well, we pull out the really interesting bits just for you.
Yep.
Today, we're getting into something potentially game-changing. It's about how we interact with the internet. Not just us using browsers, but maybe AI agents controlling them for us.
That's right. And our main source today is it's a GitHub repository ReAM. It's for a project called Browser Use.
Okay.
And the title really says it all.
Mm-hmm.
Make websites accessible for AI agents. Automate tasks online with ease.
Right. So the big question we're trying to unpack today is, can AI really use a web browser like a person, like actually navigate and click and type?
Uh-huh.
And if it can, what does that actually change for, online work, online life? We're going to look at what this project is, how it apparently lets AI take the wheel in your browser,
Mm-hmm.
and based on this source, what kind of practical things, maybe even surprising things, become possible.
And the description on the project page puts it pretty simply. It aims to be the easiest way to connect your AI agents with the browser.
Okay, let's start right there then. What does that phrase even mean? AI agent controlling your browser. It sounds a bit like something out of a movie.
Yeah, it does a bit. But based on this source, what they mean is enabling these large language models. The AIs like OpenAI's GPT models or models from Anthropic, Google, DeepSeek, Grok, Novita. They list quite a few.
Right, the ones we hear about.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Enabling them to actually perform actions inside a web browser. So not just reading text off a page, but navigating around, clicking on buttons, typing into search boxes or forms, picking options from drop-downs.
Scrolling.
Yeah. Basically mimicking the whole sequence of actions a human would take to get something done online.
And the point of having an AI do all that clicking and typing is that second part of their mission. Automate tasks online with ease, getting rid of the drudgery.
Precisely. It's about handing off those often repetitive sequences of online actions to an AI agent that can hopefully figure it out and just do it.
Okay, I'm definitely curious about the nuts and bolts here. How do you actually set this up? What does the ReADME tell us about how it works under the hood?
Well, technically, it's built as a Python library. So for anyone familiar with Python, you'd install it using pip, which is the standard way you install Python packages.
Pip install browser use. Got it.
Right. And it also relies on a browser engine, basically a tool that lets code control a browser. The documentation mentions Playwright specifically.
Ah, Playwright. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, it's a well-known one for browser automation. So you'd need to install that too, and they give the command for it, including getting things like the Chromium browser set up.
So you install their library, you install the browser automation tool, and then you need the AI brain, right? How does it connect to the LLMs?
Exactly. It's designed to work with several different large language models. As we mentioned, the ReADME lists needing API keys for providers like OpenAI, Anthropic, Azure OpenAI, Google, and others.
API keys, like
Yeah.
the passwords to use the AI service.
Pretty much, yeah. They're the credentials you need to access the AI's capabilities. And you typically store these keys securely in, like a standard .env file, so they're kept separate from your actual code.
Okay, that makes sense. Library, browser tool, AI connection via keys. The basic code snippet they show in the source, it looks almost too simple. You import something called agent, you give it a task,
Huh?
which is just plain English, like book me a flight or whatever, and you tell it which LM, which AI model to use. And then you just run it.
And that's the core concept, yeah. You tell the agent what you want done in natural language.
Yeah.
You provide the AI model, which figures out how the steps needed. And then the library uses that browser engine like Playwright to try and execute those steps on the actual website.
Wow. And if you just want to play around with it, the source says there are a few ways to interact besides writing Python code.
Yeah, they mentioned a web UI, which sounds like a browser-based interface, a dedicated desktop app you can install, and even an interactive command line tool. You could just type browser use in your terminal after installing it.
Having those different options, like a UI or a desktop app, probably makes it way easier for people to just try it out without needing to be heavy coders.
Definitely lowers the barrier to entry.
Okay, now this is where it gets really interesting for me, the practical examples. This is often where you get that aha moment, right?
Absolutely.
The ReADME lists some specific demos, specific prompts they've used. What kind of stuff are we talking about? Can you walk us through some of them?
Sure. They give a range. On the maybe simpler side, there's automating online shopping. The example is add grocery items to cart and checkout.
Okay, basic e-commerce automation, useful, sure, but maybe not groundbreaking on its own. What else?
Well, they quickly step it up, like Add my latest LinkedIn follower to my leads in Salesforce.
Oh, okay. That's different. That involves two separate websites, right? LinkedIn and Salesforce.
Exactly. That example really highlights the potential to bridge different online services. It's not just stuck on one site. It can potentially grab info from one place and use it somewhere else.
That's a big step up. And then there's this job application example they list. It seems really ambitious. It's like,
Hmm.
read my CV and find ML jobs, save them to a file, and then start applying for them in new tabs. If you need help, ask me.
Yeah, that one packs a lot in, doesn't it? Just breaking that down.
Hmm.
It suggests the AI can read a local file, your CV,
Right, on your computer.
and then go online, search across job sites, figure out which jobs match, save the interesting ones to a file, and then this is key, open multiple new tabs to start the application process concurrently.
And the last part, if you need help, ask me. The AI might ask the human for input.
That's what it implies, yeah. The potential for a kind of collaboration where the AI does the bulk work but can pause and ask for clarification or a decision if it hits a tricky spot. That's pretty fascinating.
Being able to read local files and ask for help, that really changes the game. What about interacting with like everyday web apps?
They have an example for that too. Write a letter in Google Docs to my papa, thanking him for everything, and save the document as a PDF.
Google Docs, that's not a simple form. That's got menus, formatting, saving, dialogues.
Exactly. It suggests the system is aiming to handle those more complex, rich web applications that we use for actual work, not just basic websites.
Hmm.
Saving as PDF adds another layer of interaction.
Okay, one more example they list focuses on finding specific information. Look up models with a license of CC by Say 4.0 and sort by most likes on Hugging Face. Save top 5 to file.
Right, so that shows it can handle quite specific search criteria, understand filters on a platform like Hugging Face, sort the results based on a metric like likes, and then pull out and save just the top relevant items.
Wow. So looking at that range, adding groceries, connecting LinkedIn to Salesforce, reading a CV to apply for jobs, writing in Google Docs, filtering data on Hugging Face, it really makes you stop and think.
Hmm.
For you listening, what are those things you do online over and over? Could an agent like this actually take that over? It kind of forces you to reevaluate your own digital routine.
It definitely shifts the perspective on AI, doesn't it? From just, generating text or maybe an image to actually doing stuff across multiple steps online.
So looking forward then, the project's vision statement is pretty bold. They say, tell your computer what to do, and it gets it done. That's a big claim. What does their roadmap, according to the source, suggest about how they plan to actually reach that goal?
Well, they seem very focused on improving the agent's core abilities. A major area is enhancing its memory, allowing it to handle much longer, more complex tasks. They explicitly mention aiming for tasks over 100 steps long.
100 steps. That's a seriously complex workflow.
It really is. Handling that kind of length without getting lost or making mistakes is crucial for real-world automation.
Makes sense. What other technical improvements are they working on?
They talk about improving the agent's planning abilities. This includes things like loading context specific to the website it's currently interacting with. So the AI can better understand the unique layout and quirks of, say, Amazon versus Google Docs versus Salesforce.
So it adapts its strategy based on the site.
That seems to be the goal. They're also working on reducing the cost. LLMs aren't free to run, they consume tokens.
Right, the computational units.
Yeah. And navigating complex web pages can use a lot of tokens. So they're trying to optimize how the AI processes the page structure to make it more efficient and cheaper to run these agents.
Cost is always a factor with these powerful models. They also mention improving something called DOM extraction. What's that about?
Ah, yes. The DOM, the document object model, is basically the underlying code structure of a web page. Improving DOM extraction means making the AI better at accurately seeing and understanding that structure. It needs to know where the buttons are, where the text fields are, what's clickable, what's just text. A better understanding of the DOM leads to more reliable interaction.
Okay, so better vision for the AI on the web page. The roadmap also mentions some features that sound more geared towards usability and making it stick, like recording workflows.
Yes, being able to record a human doing a task once, and then having the agent learn from that recording to automate it in the future. That can make setting up complex automations much easier than trying to describe them perfectly in text.
Like a macro recorder, but way smarter.
Kinda, yeah. And they mentioned trying to make these recorded workflows robust, even if the website changes slightly, which is a huge challenge in automation. They're also looking at templates for common tasks, job applications, social media updates, things like that to give users a head start.
Now, here's something on their roadmap that really jumped out at me. They talk about the real power being in parallelizing tasks. The example they give is finding contact info for 100 companies at the same time.
Right, and this is, I think, a fundamental difference. Humans, we tend to work sequentially online. You research one company, find the info, move to the next, then the next.
One tab at a time, usually.
Pretty much. But an AI agent, especially one that can spin up and control multiple browser instances, could potentially tackle that list of 100 companies all in parallel. It wouldn't necessarily be 100 times faster because each task takes time, but it could dramatically cut down the total time needed for batch processing tasks like that.
That's not just making things a bit faster, that's enabling a whole different scale of operation for certain kinds of online work.
Exactly. It unlocks possibilities for processing large amounts of web-based information or performing actions in bulk that are just impractical for a human to do manually.
And this whole thing, it's an open source project living on GitHub.
It is, yeah. And the source itself highlights some pretty impressive numbers regarding community engagement. Things like 62,600 stars, over 7,000 forks.
Wow, those are big numbers on GitHub.
They really are. It suggests a lot of people are interested, watching it, maybe using it. It also says 1,900 other projects are using it, and there are 196 contributors. That points to a really active development community.
That kind of buzz usually means the project is moving fast. And the release date mentioned in the source, May 28, 2025. That means it's very current, actively being worked on right now.
Definitely. And it's under the MIT license, which is very permissive, basically allowing anyone to use it, modify it, build on top of it, even commercially, with very few restrictions.
Good to know. And for developers who might be listening and thinking, hey, I could contribute, the README apparently points out ways to get involved.
It does. It mentions the usual things like opening issues if you find bugs or helping improve the documentation. They even hint at potentially getting swag for contributing.
Ah, everyone loves swag.
Right. And they also mentioned something interesting about testing a system where people can contribute task descriptions in a specific format, YAML files. And these tasks are automatically tested with every code change to make sure the agent can still do them.
That sounds like a smart way to maintain quality and ensure it doesn't break existing functionality as it evolves. Like regression testing for AI tasks.
Exactly. It helps build confidence that the agent's capabilities are robust over time. They also provide citation info, which is helpful for researchers who might use this in academic work.
Okay, so let's try and wrap this up. Pulling it all together, this browser use project, it really offers a fascinating peek into a future where AI isn't just a chatbot or an image generator, but an active participant on the web using browsers to get things done for us.
The examples they show and the roadmap they've laid out, it clearly signals an ambition to move way beyond simple web scraping or form filling. They're aiming for complex, multi-step jobs that span different websites and require actual reasoning from the AI.
It really makes you reconsider online work, doesn't it? If AI agents can start reliably handling these complex sequences, maybe even doing them in parallel, what does that mean for all the repetitive online tasks people do now?
It's a huge question.
And maybe more excitingly, what totally new kinds of online activities or businesses might become possible when you can deploy agents to do this work at scale? It feels like a potential shift from us using the browser manually, tool by tool. Yeah. To us directing an intelligent agent that uses the browser as its tool to achieve our goals.
It's a different way of thinking about interacting with the digital world, for sure. Less direct manipulation, more delegation to a capable agent, something to definitely keep an eye on.